Dear Adam, something is troubling me at the moment. I'm really at a loss for answers. Ukraine, Iran, the Epstein files, the Rape Academy website, scandal that broke recently, and I'm sitting here thinking we should know better, individually and collectively. And yet, here we are. There's a word for that feeling. Obviously, a German one, because if anyone was going to bottle up existential grief and give it a name, it was going to be the Germans. Weltschmerz, the world pain, or the world hurt, as it's loosely translated. And it describes the ache or pain, not quite sadness, not quite anger, but the feeling you get when the gap between what the world could be and what it is gets too wide to ignore. And I don't think I'm the only one feeling it right now. Today, you and I are trying to wade through the mud and hopefully come up with some helpful tools and how to navigate this Weltschmerz, world pain, because I don't think the answer is to numb it. What do you think, Adam? I guess before we get into it, how are you?
Ah,
Yeah.
heavy. Firstly, only you could say that about the Germans. Like,
Yeah.
and secondly, only you could actually say that because I can't say it.
Dana Schnitzel, you said the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, and I have to start with the laugh because if you don't, you cry, right? It's a deep, dark realization that we're having today. But before we dip into that, aside from that, the sun is shining. I'm going to try and bring some positivity to what is a dark topic we're covering today. And I am just so grateful to have you in my life as a good man, a good brother, to talk about this stuff too and try and find our way back into the light through it. So, yeah, pleasure to be here, brother.
Yeah, ditto. Um, Few people in my life I can dabble in thoughts, and I guess one thing we should name, this is a heavy topic, the Weltschmerz, especially with kind of those key points we mentioned, Iran, Ukraine, especially Epstein and this rape academy thing. They are fucking heavy. And forgive us if we dip our toe into thoughts that we have to think more about. But I think even away from the camera, we've given this a lot of thought, and um, I think our sense of it is quite profound. Anyway, I wanted to give us a quote from someone who has been quoted before on this podcast. It's none other than Viktor Frankl. And he said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves.
We no longer change the situation. Yeah, it's so profound. And, I also I think I've shown this on the podcast before as well. My tattoo, be the change. Change starts from within. Um, there's the serenity prayer as well, which speaks to try and change the things outside of you that you can't, change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Um, I think when we recognize that it's so overwhelming that like being aware of everything that's going on is so overwhelming. Like, where do you even begin? How do you even wade through that? What like we want to make it different, don't we? We all want to change. We want to try and change it somehow. Like, and it's it's like how do I even make an impact? How does little old me, one person amongst 8.5 billion, change the hearts and minds of everyone else, or attempt to or steer the human ship in the right direction? And then that feeling of overwhelm leads to I think a sort of a freezing sensation, or an ignoring, a brushing under the carpet, um, because it just becomes too overwhelming a problem. And I think the overriding message for us to get through today's episode, in which this Viktor Frankl speaks to, is that you come back to yourself and you start looking at what you can change in your life, and recognizing that we all have to just do our own little bit, and trust that others are going to do the same. Some are, some aren't. And you have to let that go, because you can't change that, you know. And it's the work you do on yourself inside, and the ripple effect that that has beyond you into your friends and family and communities. So yeah, I think that you have to start there, and because it, that's empowering, right? You can't change everything right now all at once, but you can look at yourself. You can look at your biases. You can look at the way you communicate to people. You can look at how you carry yourself in the world, the messages that you share, the people that you do or don't pull up on certain things they say and do. And that's where it starts, isn't it, really?
The difficult bit here is to not succumb to that burnout, right? We are just flooded. It seems like for the last 2 or 3 years, it's like a never-ending attack on the mind, on the heart. You know, it's one thing after the next, and you thought, okay, this is now, this is the craziest it can get. Now it settles down, and boom, we are presented with yet another even more crazy thing. And especially me, who identifies as a kind of quite sensitive, emotionally aware man, and naively, I believe that we all can do better collectively and individually, acknowledging that I have my own shadows and my own demons to wrestle with. Yet at the same time, I'm trying to do my best to do that, be that change in my little universe, and then witnessing that the outside is not, it's not behaving in the same way. It's not even crazy. Crazy is the wrong word. It's more horrible, and it's getting more dark and more depressing. And that's and then the danger from that is that resignation sets in, right? And then you're trying to hide yourself in this awful saying of ignorance is bliss. But once you've seen behind the veil, you can no longer ignore.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, brother. I mean, as I'm an eternal optimist, I think I'm gonna put a positive slant on this, because I think it's necessary. I think
Let me be the pessimist
through
today.
my experience, you can be the pessimist, exactly. Yeah, good cop, bad cop. Um, this online rape academy report that came up last week, you know, there's stuff around, obviously, male misogyny, the repression of women, that I've been aware of, like, you know, my whole life. We all have, you know. But there's something about this that's hit me in a really dark, in a deep, dark way, a final realization. And we filmed an episode on women before any of this had blown up. We'd also started speaking to our partners about their experiences as women. So the veil, it was like the veil was starting to be lifted, and then all of this came up. And I think it's actually has hit a lot of men, this situation. And the women are like, well, yeah, like, we've been living with this our whole fucking lives and dealing with this shit. We're happy that you're, like, up to speed now, but this isn't anything new. And so I think I think that's emblematic of kind of what's going on at the moment, is that there's so much darkness that has had a grip on the world for such a long, long time. And we know for anything to change, what happens? Well, the veil starts to get thinner. Things start to become more obvious. Things start to get less cloaked in shadowy ways. The light starts to shine through, and it's the light shining through which is bringing all of this stuff to the surface to be seen. And things can't be changed unless they're looked at and seen, and had a light shine on them. And this is at the heart of when I'm working with my counseling and hypnotherapy clients. This is the work that we're doing, like on a microcosm level of an individual. It's like I sort of say to my clients, look, all we're doing here through our conversation, through the work we're doing, is we're just shining a light. We're continuously just shining a light on the issue that you have. And the more you shine a light on it and the more awareness you have around it, it starts losing its grip on you. It stops becoming this unknown force that has some kind of control over you, and you kind of start seeing it for what it is, and it starts losing its grip. And so I think if we expand that out, I think that's exactly what's going on collectively in our civilization. The veil is getting thinner. We're now becoming super aware of everything that's going on. We can see it all. I think COVID was a big part, big beginning part of this. I think all of the stuff around Black Lives Matter and Lloyd George, that whole situation, I think, and because that was all going on around the same time as COVID as well, right? I mean, just similar, fairly similar time. So we've had these, we're getting these periods now that are coming through. All the stuff with Donald Trump, the Iran war, Ukraine, the internet that's kind of exposing all of this stuff, the vast access to information that we have. It's like things can't be hidden anymore. There's so much transparency. And I think whatever your opinion is on Donald Trump, he's going around doing things in a very blatant and obvious way. And what it's doing is showing everyone how fucked up this whole system is. If anything, it's actually thank you for showing us. Like, thank you for showing us just how messed up this is. How did you become in control of the largest, most successful country on the planet with the biggest military? Like someone who acts and talks the way he does, not wanting to go political with any of this at all. But I think, again, it's just symbolic of the nature of what we're going through at the moment. Is this, the veil is being lifted on so many things that we're now seeing. And actually, it's painful. It's painful when you have to look at it. You can't look away anymore. And you have to that's the first step, is you have to have the awareness of it and look at it and acknowledge it. It's going on and has been going on.
It's and this brings me to the thought of responsibility. We are so afraid to take our responsibility that I guess human nature is to always find the easiest path. And now we are being challenged to take responsibility and take it back, but somehow, to stay a bit more on the political topic, we are outsourcing our responsibility, and we're hoping with the next election cycle, it will get better, and that the next politician in power will be the change. And it's, how long do you want to wait for that? How many rounds do you want to expose yourself to that whoever you vote for, left, right, up, down, or the new party that's emerging, that's promising to do everything better, and you keep in this cycle, right? And you're forgetting that you're just voting for the bird, the wing, whichever you vote for it. That might change, but the bird is still flying. And you're just the idiot who then says, fuck, but in 4 years' time, things will get much better. So with what I'm trying to say is that each election cycle, you keep yourself small, you're hoping for change, but nothing changes. So what you're doing, you're hoping that the other person is changing, making it easier for you. Um, in other words, us humans, we are desperate for this benevolent dictator. We are hopeful that. Let me go there, and I'm sorry if this arrives wrongly, but we're hoping for this beautiful, powerful Hitler, the one person who comes in charge and takes the decision that are in best interest for everybody without killing anyone. Let me put the spaces out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That but
Just
we're
lost the only listeners we had.
Yeah.
There goes our audience.
No, but do you know what I mean? Do you understand?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Like, yeah,
and it's what I'm trying to say is this is the wrong thing, because the benevolent dictator doesn't exist. The moment put me, like, I dare to say that I'm a good man, a good human, but put me in charge of the world and I will fuck up. Power will get to my head and I will do things that I would never dream of doing. So we cannot expect of this one person in charge, whether Trump or Starmer in the UK, Merz in Germany, whoever, it doesn't matter. They sit on their throne and just wield their sort of power for their own benefits.
yeah. Mm. Oh God, this is like I can feel an ultimate waffle coming on. Like, this is going to be an ultimate waffle.
Right.
Apologies, it's coming up. What? I
I just go to
I
the
always
toilet
remember
and
as a
brush my
child.
teeth, and I'll be back
Yeah,
when you're finished.
put your feet up, put your seatbelt on, hang on tight. Um, I always remember as a kid, like growing up, even at the age of like 6, 7, 8, observing and watching and listening to my parents listen to the news cycle and talk about who was being elected and who wasn't, and what politicians were saying and what they weren't doing. Um, and being aware of this as a child happening continuously, and literally thinking to myself, like, they're all the same. They all say the same thing, and they all don't do what they're going to say they're going to do. And it's like, this just keeps happening. This just keeps happening. This just keeps happening. And it's like we're stuck in a fucking loop. And I'm 47 now, and we're still going through this same cycle. Like you said, believing that this system is going to do what we hope it's going to do. I mean, this is just such an unbelievably huge topic to even broach, trying to talk in a half-hour episode. But I think drawing it back to like collective responsibility of us all doing our own work, being our own human, recognizing that we've all come here with a unique set of skills and talents, and really delving into those, what those mean for each and every one of us. Like, the beauty of the human race is, like, not all 8 billion people want to be doctors. Not all 8 billion people want to be company CEOs. Not all 8 billion people want to be dustbin men or chefs or, aircraft pilots. Like, it's like everyone is unique and everyone has their own role to play. And it's I think if everyone could start taking part and pulling their own weight and recognizing and actually not being disempowered, knowing that we all can make a difference, like each one of us, because we're all pulling the same ship, but we all need to do it in our own equal and unique way. And there's a magic to that the unity in order that comes through nature, which we're part of. Um, yeah, so I'll stop the waffle there, but I think that's really for me, like you said, one person at the top of the pile, a human being, at nonetheless trying to make the right decision, even if they are good, like Roman, put Roman at the top in charge, even though you are good. Like, how could you make the right decision that's going to satisfy the majority of different people? I mean, it's impossible. It's like like I think we need to maybe have that conversation first of like that's actually an impossible task. You're asking for something impossible, so we're setting ourselves up for failure before we even begin because of the nature of it, and we know that we're wired more favorably to be in tribes of 150 people. Like knowing 150 people is what our brain is supposedly optimized for. So to even think about trying to manage millions of people is crazy. So um, I'm not sure if we're finding lots of solutions in this episode, but we're definitely like highlighting a lot of problems.
I let me try and because I really like what you just said, and um taking it back to the individual, to yourself. I think it's not really about, the pain of the world in itself, but the um the wound beneath, and it's our own wound, right? Our own individual demons that inevitably we all have as this experience of being a human unfolds. Um, but to also lift each other up more, like be more positive. And we noticed it, in the few comments we already getting. Like it's much easier for someone to shout, "Oh, what a fucking shit episode! Oh, you idiots! What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But fair enough. Maybe we are not at our peak yet, and actually, most definitely, we haven't reached our peak yet. But at the same time, from within, we're doing our best. And when I go, especially on social media, it's so easy to just look at it through a negative lens and critique everything you see, instead of kind of turning it around and actually being more positive out there, lifting people. If we lift each other up, the more people become better, the better we are collectively, and the better we become, right? So it's the idea of being of service, trying to walk through the world, trying to do benevolently, become the benevolent dictator in your own universe, right? Help others, be be the change that you have tattooed on your arm, and and bring others up. And I think then inevitably you will be better yourself.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, definitely. You and I remember a conversation that we had on LSD, talking about that feeling of unity that you get when you're on psychedelics. That's kind of quite an intellectual conclusion when you're not in the medicine space, but when you're high on psychedelics, there's nothing that feels more truthful than that understanding that there's only one of us here, that we're all different parts of the same source energy. And I think that speaks to what you were just talking about. Um, and what we're saying here is that if everyone recognized that they are part of this grand play that's going on, this grand human experiment, we're all part of it and we can all impact it.
Pete Holmes, the American comedian, he has a great bit around this, and I don't remember exactly what the greater context is, but he calls it, when he meets other people, they're just other me's, and oh look, there's postman me,
Mm.
and oh there's dishwasher me, and oh there's CEO me, and like meeting someone else, saying this is just a different version of me having a different experience in this human experience.
Yeah, because what changes then, right? It stops looking like me against
It's the othering, right? That stops the othering.
yeah. It's not me against 8 billion people. It's, oh, we're all on the same team. Like, oh, we're all fighting for the same thing, or we're all going in the same direction. Um, wow, that's amazing. I'm not against anyone. Everyone's for me, and I'm for them. But we are in a society that champions this individual nature of success, um, that raises this sort of individual up at the cost of others. Um, there's an amazing quote in Conversations with God. I'm going to see if I can remember it now, and it's about how you judge a civilization, how you judge the where a civilization has got to in terms of its consciousness, and it's something along the lines of a a well developed civilization, or a civilization, is judged on the way it treats the least of its citizens. So it's just like your level, you can only reach a level of optimization based on how you're treating the people at the bottom. If you're not helping the people at the bottom, if you're not raising them, if you're not consciously trying to help them get better, then you're not a well formed advanced civilization. An advanced civilization has that built into its premise. It's like, for the greater good of the society, for the whole, we want to raise everyone up to join that level. We don't want to separate them. We don't want to be us versus them. And that's also at the heart of what's going on right at the moment. We're seeing all of this with all the wars, with the Epstein files, with the way the super wealthy and powerful control the narrative, and um, it's this separation. It speaks to that separation that we're talking about, um, rather than the unity to turn us into a more advanced civilization. Um,
Just had a brilliant thought, but I forgot it. And
oh,
it's a quote by Terence McKenna, but I can't get my head to find it. So over to you, Adam.
come on, Terence, come in.
Come into my
Come on, Terence.
consciousness.
Come on, Terence. Come on, Terence. Bring in. Let's channel Terence.
Well, I I did say it before, but it has to go crazy before it gets better. And in order for this, you know, next level civilization to emerge. Ah, now I know. Haha. Uh,
Yes.
so he talked
Knew he would
about,
come.
yeah, he would come through. Well, both parts are actually great by Terence. Like the one I just said was, it has to get messy. It has to get even crazier before some kind of new change can manifest. But what I wanted to originally say is the problem with culture, right? We and he was a huge um, uh, um, opponent of culture, and says that the majority of our problems come because of the railguards that culture um, gives us. And I for a long time, I really struggled with that thought experiment, because if you look at culture, it gives us so much, right? It gives us art, it gives creativity, it gives legacy of that individual civilization that has created the culture. But at the same time, I understand where it comes from, and it's because if you live by culture, then you are putting yourself in that prison, and you adhere to those rules that this culture gives, and you no longer become this individual human living a free life. Because I was born in Germany, and this is the cultural imprint I had. Like, this is this is pure luck, or toss of a coin. I could have been born in Nigeria or Syria or America or Japan. And it's just that man-made creation of culture that then dictates how I form my worldview. And if we free ourselves from the shackles of culture, then it becomes a freer life.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if you want to play out with that Terence McKenna clip. I've just found it on YouTube.
How can we play it
Culture is
out
not
with?
your friend.
Yeah.
We can. I think I can share the screen.
No, it doesn't record. But you know what?
Oh, doesn't
I
it?
can I can share it. I can the least I can do, we can put in the show notes, and maybe we
Yeah, we
can
have to do it
adapt
in
it.
Terence
And
McKenna's voice. Culture is not your friend. Something like that.
spot on.
I'm just sorry. He's turning in his grave now. Sorry,
Yeah,
Terence. We love you.
another one.
And I'm sorry, Dennis, his brother, who's still alive, who we love as well.
Uncle Dennis.
um, yeah, beautiful, brother. I think that's probably a great place to end this. Yeah, and I think right, if culture isn't our friend, isn't it about time culture did become our friend? Like, isn't it about time we created a culture that was healthy, that was helpful, supportive, and wasn't afraid of doing the right thing, of saying the right things, of being good. Goodness. The goodness of men and women. That's what we want more
Amen.
of in the world.
Right. Dear Earthlings, we are landing the plane now. Thank you for watching. Let us know if how and why are you feeling Weltschmerz right now. Obviously, Weltschmerz is it's really key to the work we're doing at Inner Earth. It's a form of transition, and I can see and say from own experiences that we're finding ourselves in this neutral zone, right in the middle of this transition, and it's messy, it's painful, and this is why we created the two programs, the Awakening Woman and the Evolving Man. And if you find yourself there, please check it out on our website. Join me on a discovery call to discuss whether this can be the program to help you navigate through this messy middle. So thank you for watching. It's been amazing to discuss this with you, Adam. I'm sure that this won't be the last one we talk about Weltschmerz or any of the other pains that we're feeling. I'm grateful for you to be in my life. Thank you so much. But any last words?
I do indeed have a very last word. It's a
Of course you
quote
do.
that I created a couple of years ago, and it's literally just dropped in now. And it's this: there's light at the end of the tunnel when you realize that the tunnel and the light are the same thing.
Bye.
Peace out.